and a very good evening. And we welcome us once again to our late night broadcast as we continue to ask the important question regarding Nigeria. Many Nigerians might be wondering why Nigeria is where it is in this present day. And some of the reasons we're going to be looking into it again at the early hours of this morning at exactly 12:26 a.m. The 19th day of the month of July 2024. I welcome us to this transmission. Moki Bubua Nibiti Ebati Lanfani ati Gbonwani Ashale. Moki wa pe kí Ọba Elédùmarè kó túbọ̀ fi ìṣọ́ àtààbò ẹ̀ kó máa fi ṣọ́ wa ní àwa ọmọ ìran ọmọ aládé. A kú gbìyànjú, a kú kó bá dá tí gbogbo wa ń sáré ẹ̀ àti àwọn ìbéèrè tá à ń bi àwọn tí wọ́n ń darí Nàìjíríà. Bí ẹ ti ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ìkànnì wa tí wọ́n ń pè ní Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Please share the program because somebody else might also learn one or two things. Look at the topic that we picked on tonight, and if I read it quickly before we start diving into the discussion. Money, what is the value? Kí ni value owó yìí? And I can tell you that this just got to me some few hours ago. That is your blue 1,000 Naira. That is your green 500 Naira. That is your 200 Naira. That is 100 Naira. And that is 50 Naira. I want some money let Koto di pe money ko ba mi send the new updates so that we can have enough Naira. I used to have this one, but nígbà tí Emefiele dé, òun àti Buhari wọ́n decide láti pa ilé láró, and rather than having these, many Nigerians got stuck with these, but this was not in circulation. I'll be telling you more about that, but I can tell you that I've just returned back from Heathrow Airport, and like I said, kò sí nǹkan tí mo bá fẹ́ nínú Nigeria á dé ọ̀dọ̀ mi within 24 hours. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé a kú ìgbìyànjú. Mo kí bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, bàbá tó ní ká túbọ̀ máa create awareness àti pé interface sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí ní àṣálẹ́ ó dá lórí the value of the Naira. Owó ìlú ń pè ní Naira. This is the Nigerian currency. So we want to discuss about it. Kí ló dé tí kò ṣe strong? Why is it that we don't have a strong currency against the rest of the world? Like I said, since 3 hours to 4 hours that I spent at the Heathrow Airport Terminal 4, I now know the reason why the British pound sterling continue to be a very strong currency, because many people continue to arrive. Up to the time I left the airport, it was completely busy. So let's first listen to these and then we go straight into the discussion.
Bequeathed by the military in 1999, President Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there are certain critical things he would need to do. The first thing is to say, what's the constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bolaige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Ababi of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1914. Call them in. These are the people who own the country, and ask them questions. What do you want to see of the Constitution? Because without a Constitution, we're going nowhere. And no one will doubt the fact that the Constitution bequeathed by the military in 1999 is unsatisfactory. You can't build anything out of a weak foundation. The economic development policy of President Tinubu, the political development policy of President Tinubu, and everything else he wants to do rests on a very solid foundation. So let him immediately resolve that. How can we spend 23 years looking for a foundation for building a house? Does that make sense to anybody? So that's my number one issue. We need to resolve this issue of, do we want to be one? And mark you, the flip side of the question is that we mustn't be one, because Yugoslavia, which was 6 countries under Marshal Tito, when he died, decided to break apart. And today, a lot of them are very strong countries: Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, Slovakia. They're all doing well. So there's no sacrosanctity about Nigeria being one country. There's none. I personally would wish for Nigeria to be one country, but we must agree. Now, that is the problem. Because we have not agreed, and because the National Assembly has appropriated to itself the all-knowing wisdom of giving us a constitution, that is the weakness. So that's the starting point.
You've heard it there. The Constitution of Nigeria is also a big threat. And until that Constitution is reviewed, there's not much President Bola Tinubu himself can do. So when Nigerians are saying that you have a very weak currency, that your currency continue to devalue itself, and I'll be telling you what the exchange rate looks like today, because if somebody have just about 10 pounds to send to somebody in Nigeria, these 10 pounds will give you equivalent of I think it's about 2019, I'm sure. So let's say 10 pounds multiplied by 2019 Naira. Wow, it's quite a lot of money. So if I send you 10 pounds to you back in Nigeria, you are expected to be given 20,000 Naira. And that 20,000 Naira does not support you for 5 days. So that means you will be expecting another 10 pounds every 5 days. Kilo fati owo isewa devalue. Why is this money not, strong? We will try and see what we can do to explain it in the layman terms. Tole yen to ban je breda tewa. Abeni to ko fi wo boss tí kò mọ àlàyé nǹkan kan torí pé nǹkan kan kì í yé yín ní Nigeria. But I will try and see what we can do, looking at all the indices and everything that we can talk about. Yoruba Nation not going back, Yoruba Nation for life. Let's dive into the discussion, but do not be deceived that Nigeria will work, because your currency continue to depreciate very, very fast. So tó bá ní owó lákàntẹ̀, start thinking of where to keep that money or what to do with it, because ó máa di yẹ̀pẹ̀ mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́ tó bá di gúgúrú àtẹ̀pà within the next couple of years. Whatever the value of the money that you have today, start thinking what you would do with that Naira. The value of the Naira is depreciating at a very, very fast pace. Okay, and welcome to my program where we discuss, some of the issues regarding the current state of things in Nigeria today. Many Nigerians want a better life, just like any other person around the world. But it seems that that better life is becoming very, very difficult. And it is also becoming extremely hard. You're working very hard. Try and you. We tend to focus so much on the Fulani activities in our forest. Then we forget about the main reality of the economy itself, even though we know that part of the reason why the economy is where it is today is because of the Fulani attacks. But when we talk about the Nigeria economy today, how do we talk about it? And what can we learn from that economy? Is it an economy that President Tinubu can revive back within the next 3 years? Or would he need extra 4 years again that would then give him approximately 8 years? We were told that Yemi Osibajo, the former vice president, was a brain that will revive the Nigerian economy while Buhari will look into the security. It looks like it's the other way around again today. Shetima said, I will deal with the security, but since Tinubu is an accountant, he knows the numbers, he doesn't like the statistics, he would revive the Nigeria economy. But what are the people or the international community saying on the Nigerian economy? Àti pé kí làwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà gan sọ nípa economy Nigeria? If somebody asks you tonight that what is the current status of the Nigerian economy, how do you explain that in a layman? How do you know that the economy is affecting you? Ọ̀nà wo ló máa fi mọ̀ pé Nigerian economy has problem? Is it because you have not been able to drive your car anymore because you could not buy the fuel? Is it the cost of living? How do you know that the Nigerian economy is going down? And the rate to fin losile is becoming very difficult. Let's first take you back to the beginning of this year. The beginning of this year, we were given the impression that the dollar would be resolved. So I'm going to read the business day on April 5, 2024. And this is what we said, or this is what was said then. Naira, and I like to show you because, like I said, all these just came from Nigeria just about a few hours ago. I just got them from Heathrow Airport. Not through the Bureau de Change, because you can't change your Naira in London as it used to be before, because from what we heard, you can arrive in London from Nigeria and you can take this shit or currency to any Bureau de Change and you will be given these. But many Nigerians that are traveling to UK today, or through your traveler check, you cannot even get the Naira apart from the politicians that have stolen so much of this money. But the politicians as well, they are not keeping this money anymore in this value. So what they are doing is now, rather than keep this Naira as it stands, they want to convert it quickly to dollar or pound sterling, because the value of these currency, the value of the one in the middle, is diving down very fast. Koda, tabanika with the speed of how this Naira, Naira, the speed of how the Naira is crashing. It is faster than the way Titanic sank some few years back. So, ìwọ tí o wà Nigeria tó ní, you will try to work out how you will fix Nigeria from your own perspective as a citizen. Torí pé o lóyà sí Nigeria, o dẹ̀ fẹ́ kó crumble, and you want to save it. While some of you are praying in your churches and your mosque, some of you are also praying that one day this Naira would hit back in company rebound. And that is exactly what we were told some few months back. So let's go back to April 5, 2024. The Naira now exchanges at 1,245 Naira as the BDC awaits CBN to adjust the rate. That was the headline. The Naira on Friday appreciated to 1,245 Naira per dollar. That was in April. So in April, you will need 1,000. Because I lè jẹ́ kó easy for me to ban program. So this is the 200 Naira to do meta. Okay. So I have 1,000 Naira. I have 200 or the 1,002. Money 50 Naira. Or gbọ́dọ̀ for me change 5 Naira. So these three was the value of your dollar in April this year. 1,250 Naira. But what Germany change 5 Naira. For me to get $1, this is $1. For me to get this dollar, And remember that this is not in the black market. This is the bank rate, the open rate that CBN expect. Oh, I forgot that your bank doesn't have dollar. It might be, no, sorry. I was still thinking I'm in Europe. I forgot now that a Nigerian that wants to study in the UK, because UK itself is a business center. So you need about 40 million naira. Convert back to pounds. Or to bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé o fẹ́ lọ sí Dubai, you want to go and have good time, because you are seeing those that are traveling, that our A-list stars, our elite, the politicians like Dino. Most of you forgot that those ones have invested in Naira long time ago, but you as a Nigerian, you would then want to go to your bank and say, Mr. Bank Manager, I just got a visa to Dubai. I don't even know what I will be doing when I get there, but they said there's a job there, so I'm going to Japa. But I need to have at least about $1,000. You will then walk into your bank, First Bank, Wema Bank, Sterling Bank, GT, Access, even your OPay, and you will tell the bank manager to change you from your Naira that you have in your account, that you need $1, equivalent to $1,000. Your bank manager will say straight up that you are living in a different world, because Dele Momodu told us that at some point he struggled to even get cash that is Naira in his account. He doesn't request for dollar. Naira, it needed a Naira to the tune of 200,000 Naira, and he could not even get it out from the bank. So how you will now be able to get dollar, I don't know. But rather than the dollar to be in the bank for you to get, you will now be sent to Yaba. Depending on your state, if you're living in Abuja, they will send you to all those Aboki, that Aboki has enough dollar that your bank doesn't have. And if you need $20,000, Aboki will give you that $20,000. The question we have not asked is, where is Aboki getting his dollar that our bank does not have the same equivalent? I just wanted to put that at the back of your mind. So when some of you are now trying to defend Nigeria, what you are defending first is the value of this currency. For every day tó bá ti sọ pé o fẹ́ràn Nigeria, you are defending this shit hole Naira. But this Naira, the value continue to depreciate very fast. We're still in April. The Naira on Friday appreciated to one. If somebody can give me the dollar rate today, I know it's about 1,660, and I hope my number is right. Tó bá yàtọ̀, please put it in the comment section. Èló ni Naira sí dollar as at yesterday? But in April, it was about 1,245 Naira per dollar on the parallel market, stronger than the rate at the official and the bureau de change segment of the foreign exchange market. And at the official forex market, the dollar was quoted at 1,255 on Thursday, while it quoted around 1,269 to dollar at the bureau de change segment. There was a recent circular from the Central Bank of Nigeria says that the Apex Bank sold the dollar at 1,251 to the bureau de change operators. Who are these bureau de change operators? How many Yoruba are involved? How many Igbos are involved? How many ethnic indigenous people are involved? Okay, the dollar as at today is 1,627. So I was almost right with my figure. So the dollar stand at about 1,000. So I want 1,627. So that is the Naira to the dollar. Eshegoni, Mr. Oluwamo Adedeji. The circular that came out then from the CBN told us that they were selling it. But I'm asking the question, these BDC, who owns them? How did they get the license? Who gave them the license? And why is it that one particular ethnic group controls that powerful sector as against many others in Nigeria, even as of today? As at the time, with the current exchange rate, the Naira gained 29.67% when compared to the lowest of 1,027 per dollar in March. So it seems that the dollar that went either down in April has jumped back again to 1,627. But why is that so? The CBN made it known to us that they will only be able to sell $10,000 each to the Bureau de Change at the rate of 1,251 to the dollar. I don't know what they're selling it as of today, but I know that the central bank will not be able to sell the dollar to the Bureau de Change. The Bureau de Change are the people that you will have to go to because your bank does not carry dollar. Even though, when Buhari was in power, he made it known that if we send money home, dollar le ko fun wa, not Naira. They wanted to do that so that many of us will continue to send money back home. What then happened is another fraud that many of us send money home, and rather than the bank to issue you with that same dollar, Timo send it in Nigeria, they end up giving you Alaro Naira. In February 2024, the CBN also formalized the dollar sale of $20,000 per BDC. This followed the ongoing reforms in the foreign exchange market aimed at achieving an appropriate market, determine the exchange rate for the Naira. In the circular that was issued sometime around February 2027, that was signed by Hassan Mahmoud, the director of the Trade and Exchange Department, the bank expressed concern over ongoing price distortion. So let us find the English dictionary for that word.
Distortion.
Kí ló ń pè ní
Distortion.
tí bá sọ fún yín pé
Distortion.
it is the action of distorting or the state of being distorted. The virus causes distortion of the leaves. Joe Biden is currently isolated. You might not ask, or you might want to ask me why. Kí ló ṣe? Is currently being distorted with the COVID-19. You would think that COVID-19 is gone. But right now, a ṣì ń gbọ́ pé President America ó ṣì ń kó COVID-19. So what they're telling us is that COVID-19 is still out there. But a layman only might understand the distorting, it's past, present, participle, gbogbo kìíní ẹ̀ la máa ń ṣe ní school, and distorting, kí ni meaning ẹ̀? Distorted. Fáwa àwa tá a kàwé báyìí, ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣàlàyé ní bó ṣe lè yé wa. So tí bá sọ pé
distortion.
It is also the action of giving a misleading account of or impression. It's the same thing. Pẹ̀lú àwọn tó náà ti gba country, the Dúpọ̀ ní three version. Ẹ máa jó, ẹ máa yọ̀. We are now in our Yoruba country. Kódà, a lè wà ní Yoruba country ká ṣe máa ná náírà. A lè wà ní Yoruba country ká ṣe máa lo passport ti Nàìjíríà. A lè wà ní Yoruba country ká máa lo constitution. All these are part of a misleading information. And the Nigerian government are good at that. Or Britain ló ti kọ́. The lies that is encroaching inside Nigeria today was part of what Britain taught us. So tá bá sọ pé census, as an example, if somebody tell you, oh, the North has the majority numbers, it is part of what the Britain told us. So everybody then automatically believe that lótìtọ́ lódodo, everything is normal in Nigeria. Kódà, near Port Leni, I'm sure that some Nigerians that were looking at me, because I saw few of them, even though, well, direct flight, I can tell because looking at the flight chart on flights today, somebody must have traveled through Doha. Ademokwe Doha, Qatar ni. So oti rìnrìn àjò bí ó ti sọnù bí òkú ọmọ. Ó lọ. Èyí tí ẹ kó lọ ní direct tó bá jẹ́ pé value wà fún Nàìjíríà, ó yẹ kí n lọ direct 6 hours. But because púpọ̀ nù wọn lówó lọ́wọ́, so they are sourcing for tickets that can route them to anywhere. It doesn't matter. Kódà, some people are ready to go to India to start their journey before coming to UK. Some are ready to go to Turkey. Some are ready to go to United Arab Emirates. But mostly Nigerians will travel to Kigali, which is Kenya, right? Because I saw few flights that arrived from Kigali. And I'm sure most of the Africans and Nigerians become Ogbon so Yoruba ní airport. And I look at the flight. I was looking for maybe there's a Nigerian Airways. There's none. So báwo ló ṣe dé UK? They took a long indirect flight. So don't be deceived by people that might be telling you that all is well in Nigeria. All is not well. So let's come back again to the word
distortion.
And it is also spelled as Delta, Indigo, Sarah, Tango, Oscar, Romeo, Tango, India, Oscar, November. In a layman, Annie, D for doctor, I for India, S for sugar, T for table, O for orange, R for rabbit, T for table, I for indigo, O for orange, N for November. But not everybody will not understand the other way around. The word
distortion
is the act of twisting. So for 63 years, they were twisting and twisting. Distract ara wa pẹ̀lú orúkọ máa kíra wa, bọ̀ mo kí yín ní kíkí àlàáfíà pé assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What God cannot do does not exist. Àbọ̀rọ̀ àbọ̀yè mo kí gbogbo wa pé àdélẹ̀ lè rí báríkà jímọ̀ fáwọn mùsùlùmí. Again,
distortion.
That word is the act of twisting. Nígbà tá à ń pariwo Yorùbá nation, àwọn kan tún dé. Ẹ máa ti pariwo Yorùbá nation náà. Ẹ ṣe jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ béèrè fún restructure Nigeria. Ẹ ṣe jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ béèrè fún regionalism or regional government. So, because the fact remains is all these things don't béèrè fún yẹn kò ń ṣe ní lọ́sẹ̀ ń béèrè fún. They've been asking for the last 45 years. Kò sẹ́ni kankan tó dá wọn lóhùn. But wọ́n wá ń rò bóyá nígbà tí a ti ní ọmọ tó dàbí tiwa, ẹni tó ẹ mọ̀ pé airport lẹ́ni nísìn, èmi náà máa fojú wá àwọn tó tèmi náà jọ, àwọn èèyàn bíi tèmi tájọ look alike. Oyè yín ká má fi gbogbo ẹnu máa ṣe èmi náà wò pé àwa náà pọ̀ airport díẹ̀, àwa náà wọlé, but àwọlé tó àwọn òyìnbó. You might think that Africans are traveling. You're wrong. After the 4 hours I was at the airport, I did not see the contingency of people like me arriving at the airport. And you might want to ask why. Mostly, let's stick to Nigeria. It is also because the value of Nigeria has depreciated. And it is going down, and it will be difficult for anybody around the world. Because, look, you don't need to have a UK visa alone. You can get, let's say, a German visa, and you just want to stop over in London. Normally, if the country was valued, you should arrive in UK with the German visa, kọ́dẹ̀ lo transit fún ẹ pé, oh, Mr. Koiki, where are you going? You know when you're traveling, when you get to the airport, the question you'll be asked is, where are you traveling to? I'm going to Nigeria. Is that your final destination? No. When I get to Nigeria, because my town, my hometown is Ekiti, and we no get airports, we fit take flight to land, I will then get a bus, but I might likely be kidnapped along the route because we have insecurity. How many foreigners do you think will arrive in Nigeria if they cannot travel straight to Ekiti from London? Why would I want to risk a road journey when even here in UK, people travel on the flight from here straight into some of the smaller airports, as we say? So, but the reason why Nigerians continue to disagree with the self-determination, I'll tell you why. It is because a lot of things have been distorted in Nigeria. So people do not even see our tá à ń sọ pé self-determination. They don't see us as the people that are saying the truth. Even as at one of my videos today, I've read a comment that says, and then so what? Because they have been given enough false, distorted information. Then information is very, very important. These are the papers today. Doesn't mean that you believe everything in that paper. But let's go for the paper yesterday, which is the July 18. I posted that. If you have followed me in the morning, there's a man that everybody knows very well. I will not give his name straight away, but I will give you a clue if you can get his name. He was kept away for a very long time. He spent almost half of his years in the prison. He was called names, including a terrorist. He was also told that if he does not give in to their demand, or no, if he does not allow their demand to go. He might die in the prison. And the man said, no problem. Ṣé àwọn nǹkan tí ẹ fẹ́ nìyẹn? For me to say I am no longer interested in my quest for my people. He was an activist. He suffered the consequence. He died at the age of 95. He was also a president before he died. But majority of his people probably would not even have trusted or believed him as much as the end was still achievable. He was born yesterday in 1918. He was born in a very beautiful part of the global world that we are living today, even though the impression is that anywhere Africa, it is not what it at all. So what I saw at the airport today is that there were more foreigners arriving in London at that airport, but there were less numbers of people from Africa. I saw people from all over the world in their numbers, but the Africa part, you can see, I want to join you now, we are we are Ghana, Lumaje, Kenya, but the numbers was very low. And one of our mothers has been able to give us the answer to the question of this individual. Yawa Comfort Ologunja have just confirmed that Nelson Rohila Mandela was a South African anti-apartheid activist. He was a politician, a statesman who served as the first president of the South Africa from 1994, just a year after Abiola would have been the president. Maybe MKO would have been the one to go and represent Nigeria if that election was not unknown. I'm just adding that so that our mind recollects things that happened prior and things that also happened after. Mandela ruled South Africa between 1994 and 1999. Do you know that he was also the country's first black head of state? You'll be wondering that why did he become the president? It was not an easy journey. It was a rough road. It was a difficult terrain. Our grandmother, Yawa Grandma Lee Ajayi also said, Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, he was awarded a Nobel Prize. He was born yesterday, July 18, 1918. Numbers are very, very important. But I'm spotting and I appreciate you because we are in a serious lecture room and we do not want any student to distract us. So the batting wale eko mu number pe emi na ti wa lórí program kede jókòó kájọ máa gbọ́ lọ. But lecturer máa appreciate gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wọlé àtẹni tó dé láàrin méjì a máa rántí pé ẹ tètè dé bóyá ẹ lọ síbi iṣẹ́ ó rẹ body ó rẹ̀ mí náà kò ṣe pé kò rẹ̀ mí but bàbá Akíntóyè ní tá bá máa gba Yorùbá nation a máa dárun mọ́jú. I could have come back home. Ìgbà tí mo set up, my wife was asking me kí ni mo tún fẹ́ ṣe lálẹ́ mo ní mo fẹ́ ṣe program. A kàn máa wò pé ẹ lè máa ní is it worth it? Need days, need numbers, need years more. We need every seconds to enlighten Yoruba people that àti wà nínú ewu. Ọ̀nà àbáyọ dẹ̀ ni pé kọ́gbọ́n tá à ń sọ. Àbá Kókó Zaria jà, àbẹ́ńsí olú ọmọjà kódà kó gbádùn Nàìjíríà títí dìgbà tá a máa kúrò kò sẹ́ni tó máa gbowó kankan lọ́wọ́ wọn àmọ́ ìlú tá a fi gbé Koko Zaria ò ní òun wà níbì kan tó fọ́gò mọ́yàn lórí àti Koko Zaria àtẹni tó fọ́gò mọ́ lórí àgọ́ ọlọ́pàá la máa kó gbogbo yín lọ ọlọ́pàá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló máa yanjú ẹ̀ wọ́n máa ṣe forensic Koko Zaria ìgò tí ó wà lórí tébù yìí ǹjẹ́ tá bá gba ìka ẹ tá bá gbélé ìgò yẹn ṣó match tọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀ tó bá match o mọ̀ nípa crime yẹn à wá lo CCTV à lo gbogbo technology à ní máa lo èyí tí gbogbo àjọ ń lò nísìn takọ̀ wá ń ṣe fídíò Koko Zaria ní wọn ò fọ́gò mọ́ lórí ìyẹn ló fọ́gò mọ́ mi lórí ìyẹn máa níyànjú nítorí pé à wà nínú system tí ó dàbí ti UK tí ó bá fọ́gò mọ́yàn lórí lálẹ́ ní Dustin lọ́dọ̀ area ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Amọ̀dẹ̀mádà wọ́n máa mọ ẹni tó fọ́gò yẹn bọ̀ kó ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ náà lọ́ máa mọ̀ Dustin tí mo kọ̀ sọ yẹn ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń tura gbé débẹ̀ à ń bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ máa ṣe rí program tá à ń ṣe ní bíbá a fi ń jẹ́ kẹ́ mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ó ti kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń rò má máa rò pé kò sí crime lágbàáyé bọ̀ wọ́n máa resolve ẹ̀ kẹ́ ń gbé débẹ̀ ọlọ́kadà tó ń rí gbogbo àlà ń rí ọlọ́kadà ni lóòótọ́ àwòrán ò jáde dáadáa this criminal killed a life ọmọ yẹn sì wà láyé bọ̀bẹ́ ni tó sí láyé mọ́ ni ọlọ́run níjà jáde tá à ní wọlé mọ́ kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà nìkan ni problem wà. The world is full of evil and wicked. But ọ̀nà àbáyọ fọ́ndọ̀ tiwa ni pé evil yẹn a lè reduce it to the barest minimum. Ká wá máa find the solution sí àwọn gbogbo irọ́ tó ti distort. Because mo tún padà sórí distortion or distort because the lies in Nigeria only kanka lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Lai Muhammed. But I'm coming there. This is today's paper. Well, Otidano. Let me read this to you. Sunkún fábíàmọ́ kan lálẹ́ yìí. Ẹ̀yin ìyá wa. Àfáà mi kan ní Mala Musa mo ní náà onílé ayé ilé ogun ni wàá máa dé ṣòkòtò ẹ dáadáa ní bá lọ ra belt tó dáa. Ní bá ní mo ní àfáà mo ní mo ti ra belt. Mo wá dé ṣoko ọmọdé òmò ògùn pèlè ẹ̀fọ́ ó ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀tì ni mo ní kó ra ní pẹ́kàmù wàá máa dirẹ̀ lámúrè torí pé kí ibi má bàa kọlù ẹ̀ ibi ti kọlù lẹ̀ Yorùbá àfi kọlù Elédùmarè kò yọ wá nú ẹ̀ a ti wà nínú ewu burúkú bọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọ́n sì wà distorted with the lies. Mo ń bọ̀ lórí story àìtí parí ti Mandela gbogbo ẹ̀ náà value Nàìjíríà ṣó ń lọ sókè ni àbó ń lọ sílẹ̀ níbo la délé ní kí ló dé tó ṣe rí bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn màmá kan ti rí àríṣà yẹn àwọn kan ṣe ń rí ni kódà àwọn màmá kan ní pé ká máa gbàdúrà lọ. Images of the shooting suspect has now been released as victim ọmọ 9 years old may never speak again. Wọ́n bí ní arọ wọ́n bí ní pé nígbà tó bí pé kò lè sọ̀rọ̀ ó wá di ọmọ 9 years old tí kò lè sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n gbé débẹ̀. Dustin yẹn ọ̀nà East London ló wà ó súnmọ́ side ibi tí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa Amọ̀dẹ̀mádà nígbà tí mo rí wọn nígbà tí mo dé ní 2021 end of the year after bí oṣù rẹpẹtẹ tí mo lọ lọ Nàìjíríà ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn wá pàdé mi ní Dustin ó ní òun gan tóun rò pé òun sán lórí ó ní bí òun dá kóun lọ dán tí mo dán wò yẹn pé mo fi ibi tí àlàáfíà wà, gbogbo nǹkan wà, mo wá lọ ń jà ní Nàìjíríà. Ó ní ṣé o fẹ́ kó pa ẹ́ ni? Mo ní Ọlọ́run ló lẹ̀mí gbogbo wa ni. Ó ní má máa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àbúrò, mo kàn fún ẹ láàdváìsì ni. Mo ní mo ti gbọ́ sà. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i, mo kí gbogbo wa. Let me read the story. Eléyìí ń ṣe story pé friction. Real story tó ṣẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ ní UK lélẹ̀, kò síbi tí kò sí crime. Crime méjì ni máa fún yín. Ìkan tó ṣẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Sweden. Àwọn méjì tó gbéra láti ìlú yìí. Kódà nígbà tó pa wọ́n tán ní Sweden nínú mọ́tò wọn, wọ́n wá jó mọ́tò yẹn. Ìgbà tí mo dé ìlú yìí ni mo ti kọ́kọ́ experience something like that. Brother mi yẹn tàjọ dé almost similar time. Ó sì wà nílùú yìí. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ sun rẹ̀ pa sínú mọ́tò lọ́nà Vauxhall. Ilé òun ṣe friction o. Mẹ́wàá ṣẹlẹ̀. A girl of 9 years old was shot in the head. Wọ́n yìnbọn fún lórí. Níbo ló wà tó fi ń yìnbọn fún lórí? Ṣó lọ protest ni? Because Africa is only a place that you protest. Tó máa yìnbọn fún yàn. Just like bó ṣe pa Adéorí Ọ̀kín ní January last year. Ọlọ́pàá yìnbọn fún wọn pa. Ẹ rántí Saoti Igboho tó ní wọ́n ti pa Adéorí Ọ̀kín. Because that country kò mọ value life. So the life can be taken away from you at any point of time in Nigeria. Tó bá lucky tó bá ti kọjá 52 Nigeria, máa dúpẹ́. According to the World Health Organization, many of you will not survive up to 52 years old. I am not making this up, and I can give you instances of names, but I'll come back to that. A girl of 9 years old. A girl of 9 years old. A girl of 9 years old was shot in the head. Orí ló ti yìnbọn fún. Kí ló ṣe? Ta ló ṣẹ̀? Ta ni màmá ẹ̀ ṣẹ̀ tó fi di pé wọ́n yìnbọn fún lórí? Kò ṣẹ̀yìn kankan. Ọlọ́run má jà lọ jẹun tí ó máa jẹ́ pé ibẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti máa yìnbọn fún wa. The parents took her to the restaurant somewhere in Distortion area to go and eat. While they were having ice cream lọ́nà ọmọ yẹn mú lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ọ̀daràn olórí burúkú yìí tó wà lórí ọ̀kadà yìí, ó ní mission tó fi wá pààyàn kan sí restaurant yẹn. Kódà àwọn tó fi wá pa ẹnu ọ̀nà ló wà tó dúró sí. Nígbà tó súnmọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, ó fa jagamu yìí jáde. You know what happened? Ṣó mọ̀ pé ìbọn ọmọ kò mọ̀ pé èèyàn kan ló wà níbì kan, àtọmọdé tó wà ń bẹ̀ àtàgbàlagbà. Ẹni orí bá yọ ni. He took out the gun, machine gun, pa. One of the bullets ó lọ bá ọmọ tí ó mú ice cream nínú restaurant, ó bá lórí. The girl of 9 years old, shot in the head in a drive-by shooting in East London, may never speak or move properly again, her parents have said. The victim was eating dinner with her family at a restaurant in Kingsland High Street, Distortion, on May 29 this year, when a lone motorcyclist fired a number of shots towards that same direction, towards the building rather. We are devastated about what has happened. Our daughter remains stable, but in a critical condition, the girl's family said in a statement released via the Metropolitan Police. So mo kó tó bá pé Nàìjíríà náà gbogbo crime tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, won't dive into it. I am not talking about the crime tí mẹ̀kúnnù nìkan. I'm talking about the crime that the politicians have committed against the many Nigerians. Yaya Bello is still out there. Kódà EFCC chairman jẹ́ kó yé wa pé tóun bá rí Yaya Bello mú òun máa resign. Bí ó máa resign lọ́la, we'll still wait and see. The parents said that their daughter only went there for ice cream, and now we do not know if we will ever get our daughter back to being the smart, funny girl that she was before, and whether she will be able to ever speak or move again. Let's bring that to the current situation of Nigeria. Many Nigerians today are still hoping that they will be able to speak and they will be able to walk, because they are giving them
distortion.
Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ Nigerians are hoping that they will be able to stand on their feet and they will be able to speak. And I'm just using that as a parable. Kò mí pé speak, bí ṣe ń speak yìí. I'm talking about the discussion of tonight. Ǹjẹ́ tí bá sọ fún ẹ nísìn pé sáré bá mi ṣe transaction $500,000 láàárọ̀ ọ̀la, is it possible that you can do the same thing for me? Just say, look, mo fẹ́ ra ẹ̀gúnfe, wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ pé 250,000 naira ni, bá mi sanwó ẹ̀, èmi á send owó yẹn padà. Ṣé o mọ̀ pé wàá máa sọ pé ọmọ rà pé Koiki náà ti ń Koiki náà àbóhùn náà ti di, because that is the techniques of a scammer. A scammer ló máa ní yá mi lówó títí dàárọ̀ ọ̀la, mostly from Nigeria, and we all know that, because tó bá ti hack WhatsApp àwọn èèyàn, the first thing táwọn èèyàn máa ń kọ́kọ́ béèrè ni ọ̀rọ̀ owó. Wọ́n dẹ̀ níbẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n kàn máa send message ni pé mo need 50,000 títí dàárọ̀ ọ̀la, and to bá fall into that trap, that is it. So what I am trying to use to link this problem eléyìí nísìn tó bá tó 30 years wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ wá bọ̀bọ̀ ìjà àfi tóun fúnra rẹ̀ bá kú. But ọlọ́pàá wá ṣiṣẹ́ dé outside UK. Ẹni tó rán bọ̀bọ̀ yìí, wọ́n náà ti pa òun náà sílùú mi. Crime tabani Nigeria is a crime scene. Ó ju word yẹn crime scene lọ, because a crime scene, the incident that is happening in the north, that is a crime scene, is having a ripple effect in another part of the country you are calling Nigeria. And that is why let's save Nigeria. Number one, most of you will never travel to Sokoto to go and live there. Yes, we have Yoruba people that are living there, but what is the percentage of Yoruba people that will relocate and live in Sokoto? So why do we want to save Sokoto? Because àwọn Yoruba kan gbé níbẹ̀. If they want to live there, they should abide by the rules and regulations. Just like I live in UK, I am abiding by their rules, by their constitution, by whatever that has been laid down. So let's read further. After Totini, ọmọ wọn nílé sọ̀rọ̀, kò dẹ̀ nílé rìn properly again, because ìbọn tó báyàn lórí ó ti da gbogbo oríṣiríṣi system. They are giving the girl the best medical treatment that you can ever think of right now. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní san kọ́bọ̀, but ṣó lè dàbí ṣá? We need our child back. Ìyẹn ni tọ́lọ́run bá sọ pé òun dé tán ló lè fún ọlọ́mọ yẹn padà bó ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀. And we are all praying for a full recovery. Ṣòrí pé àwọn náà lo ọ̀rọ̀ prayer. Má wàá máa sọ pé Christian yẹn àná lọ́gbé wá, kò sí kíní kún ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú yẹn. Ìtò important ni let's stick to Yorùbá nation. Polongo Yorùbá nation, fọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn sílẹ̀, má attack Christian, má attack Muslim, má attack oníṣẹ̀ṣe. Because we are all operating different faiths. 3 men out. We need our child back, and we are all praying for our full recovery. 3 men outside the restaurant. Àwọn mẹ́ta kan tó dúró síwájú restaurant yẹn bí àwọn yẹn ló fi yìnbọn fún ni tí ìbọn lọ bẹ lòmíì. Age 37, 42 years old, and 44 were also shot, but they have been discharged from the hospital a few days later. Ìbọn tó lọ lára Donald Trump, ayẹta tí Donald Trump gbé sára ìwọ náà má lọ tètè jẹ tiẹ̀. Máa sọ pé ìdílé tiwa a kì í ṣoògùn mọ́, no problem. But ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ lọ protest dira dáadáa o. Torí Nigerian government wọ́n máa gbébọn jáde because that is the only language they understand. Ìbọn máa jáde. So age 37, 42, and 44 were also shot, but they have been discharged from the hospital a few days later. Police have now renewed their call for information and released the photo of the motorcyclist they want to trace in connection with the shooting. Now, imagine if there was no CCTV. How do we get this image? Ìyẹn mo ṣe lo ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé èyí tí wọ́n ní wọ́n fọ́gò mọ́ra wọn lórí CCTV ló yẹ kó yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn and proper detailed investigation. Many of the crimes in Nigeria are only focused on the masses, but the big criminals are out there enjoying their loot while they know that nothing is going to happen to them. And to be honest with you, nothing is going to happen to them. Most of the politicians will die and nothing will happen to them with all the crime that they've committed in Nigeria and the one they're still committing. But you, the layman, you do small little crime, they come after you, and they will even forget you in the prison. Look, not everybody in the prison are criminals. It's just that the justice system in Nigeria has not been able to review their case, so they've abandoned them in the prison. Àfẹnitórí bá yọ. Ká tó kúrò lórí ọ̀rọ̀ arákùnrin, because mo fẹ́ fún yín ní tẹlòmíì, ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú. The images were captured in Distortion before and after the incident. So that means while the guy was riding his bicycle, camera pick, they were able to know, but they are still looking for him, even though they've not found him. They were able to also locate, according to the Deputy Chief Superintendent James Conwell. We don't need to pay this police officer for that investigation. We don't need to, he knows what he needs to do. In Nigeria, tell them to come and help you to solve a crime today. Police station the police station gan kò safe lálẹ́, but ilẹ̀ bá mọ́ lọ sí police station àdúgbò ẹ̀ kó wá lọ sọ pé crime kan ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀ yẹn kó wá bẹ́ yanjú ẹ̀. In tó bá sọ má parọ́ kó wá fún mi ní feedback. This motorcyclist also was found to have traveled to Peckham and Crystal Palace areas. Anyone who saw the motorcycle or who can help us identify the rider is now urged to contact us immediately. But there's a new development, Lori story, which has also linked another death outside the UK. The update comes after a report that the gang boss suspected of being behind the drive-by shooting, ẹni tó fi ipò rán wọn kó lọ pààyàn níwájú restaurant yẹn tó fi dìpọ̀ lọ bá ọmọ 9 years old lórí. Wọ́n parákùnrin náà ní Izet Erin is a 41 years old. Òun fúnra rẹ̀ ó ti jọ́lọ̀ nípè ní Moldova. He has been killed. There's another one I want to tell you before we move swiftly. Muki. There was another one that happened somewhere in Sweden. Then we go back to our discussion. Yes. These two are businessmen. Whatever went wrong, bó ṣe ní wọn mọ lélẹ̀, ó jẹ́ kó padà sí London ní ṣé Sunday ló gbá final Euro. Yeah, I think it was Sunday. They should have returned back to watch the finals. But bí ṣe bá ń sọ̀rọ̀, you can see the burnt vehicle. They were shot dead and they burnt them alive. Or no, well, after they died anyway. But also after tó yìnbọn fún wọn. All this happened again in a European country. So if this is still happening in a European country, you can imagine how many things are happening in Africa, including Nigeria, that we will not be able to solve because the value of Nigeria does not respect any dead person, talk less of person will still be alive. The person we don't die in Nigeria is gone. Ó ti pa, ó ti lọ. So why waste your time and energy to that person? The person where they are alive, Tinubu says he will pay 70,000 naira for minimum wage, as if he can buy. People keep talking about bag of rice. I spoke to one of my brother at home. In a week, they are now spending 17,000 naira for buying bread. One big kilo de ti o le tó yẹn. Only bread it on produced in Nigeria lẹ́ni nísìn. Ó fẹ́lẹ́ gan. Kò sí weight nínú ẹ̀ mọ́. Wọ́n ti reduce the flour. Gbogbo nǹkan tó ń kó sínú ẹ̀ tó fi ń di fúkufúku tẹ́lẹ̀ tó yẹ pé tó bá ra bread nígbà táwa wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ní 1995 tí mo ṣe tán ní phase 2 lọ́dọ̀ Alájà. Ó ń yọ bọ́tà rèé. Tí bá ti gbọ́hùn ìyá yẹn báyìí, mo sáré gbùdùgbùdùgbùdùgbùdù. Alájà dẹ̀ like àwọn bread kan máa ń pe àwọn bread yẹn ní mo rántí ẹ̀ bí French bread náà ni, you know. Woman yẹn bá ti dé báyìí regular ní phase 2. Ó ń yan bọ́tà, èmi á ní mi ò fẹ́ bọ́tà tiẹ̀ because èmi ní ẹ̀wà tí mo fẹ́ fi jẹ lókè. But today, many of our people cannot even afford to buy bread. It's one of the most basic food in Europe. Let's come back to this. British travel agent fear shot dead in a burnt car in Sweden. These are crimes, but this crime, if it takes another 10 years, they will want to know who killed them, why, and they must find justice for them. As many of you are looking for justice for one thing or the other in Nigeria, the chances of that justice has been
distortion,
or we say distorted. So while you are looking for justice in Nigeria, Nigeria itself, according to the meaning of
distortion,
is the act of twisting or altering something out of its truth, natural or original state. The reason why we are not getting the fact of what is happening in Nigeria is because the foundation was faulty. The country has been put on lies, illusion. Many Nigerians would tell you, hey, you shut up. Jesus Christ is coming to fix Nigeria. No problem. Anabi Muhammad will come and sort it out when everything. All these are part of
distortion,
lies. The quality or state of being distorted, a product of distorting. Let us give some of the example of distortion. You can distort an image, a thought, or even an idea. While we are shouting Yoruba Nation, the Yoruba Nation, some people then came and tell us, no, Yoruba Nation is not what we need now. We need regionalism. We need restructure Nigeria. Koda, we need another election. But we were warned that all these, no, we're not done yet. All this is too late. Why then are people coming out again and distorting information? Because àwọn tó ti ń gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá Nation tẹ́mi wọ́n ti ń sọ pé ó dà pé eléyìí ó fẹ́ sàn ju APC àti gbẹ̀gìrì party àti party olè àti party jẹgúrújẹrá party the whip senate and Ndume òun náà ló mú Akpabio wá, òun ló nominate Akpabio ti fọlẹ́pọ̀n nísìn. Ndume òun ló jáde ló ní Tinubu government we thought Buhari government had more cabal. This Tinubu government, the cabal be like over 3 million. And when people talk about Nigeria, these people saw it better than us. This was in 2017.
We made a declaration saying that it's too late for restructuring in Nigeria. You will remember in 1962, there was a massive problem in Nigeria when Awolowo was arrested. Our people talked to us. There was crisis for over 4 years that led to the coup. There was a Yoruba meeting of elders called the Yoruba Leaders of Thought. We relented. The thing continued. Yoruba has continued to lose ground since that time. In 1993, there was the annulment of the June 12 election. Shiju Ade, the former Oni, spoke and said Yoruba should go ahead and conduct an election. We did. It led to nothing. The same thing happened.
I love that part. Shiju Ade asked people to go and contest election. And we did. But it led to nothing. Right now, I tell the multi Tinubu dele because we take party government. But while we were campaigning heavily and telling our people that the option to wà lórí table, ó wà glaring. Wọ́n nírọ́ tí náà wà distortion. Ó wà distorted. Kódà, they were asking questions and telling us that kò tẹ̀lé wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Mo rẹ́ni tó pè mí tó ní Koiki intention ẹ lè rí gbà in another 50 years. And the reason why they are saying that is because some people were also preparing to cook and distort the whole movement and derail it. Yes, if the movement says Yoruba Nation will come tomorrow, kò dẹ̀ tí wà. Ǹjẹ́ a rí reason tí kò ṣe tí wà? Because we are talking about a country that has existed for 63 years. Ta fi kúrò nínú ẹ̀. Ta fi lọ gba òmìnira wa kúrò lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ọwọ́ àwọn ogun la fi gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. When we say we want Yoruba Nation, we want Yoruba Nation. Ọwọ́ ta la ti fi gbà. Ọwọ́ ta la ti fi gba Yoruba Nation yẹn gangan. Ṣọ́wọ́ Buhari ni, òkè Buhari ti lọ. Ṣọ́wọ́ Tinubu ni, Tinubu ti fún wa. Tóun náà bá lọ. Who actually do we want to get the Yoruba Nation from? And that is why I said, when we are ready, fully ready, we don't need to get it from anybody. We will just make the decision, and that decision stand firm. Not the decision of a kind of distorted information like Duponitiri, because that was another distortion. Because, who did declare Yoruba Nation? I've given them Yoruba Nation. Koda, I have given Yoruba Nation that just go and start your government. And people like us that understand what government is all about, you then start asking questions that, nígbà míì tó bá careful, tó bá gbé ọ̀rọ̀ Duponitiri sórí, orí máa fọ́ ẹ tó máa fi lọ sùn. I am talking about learned people. I'm not talking about people that are not learned, like Wale Ali, because mo ríṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe ní UK kò tí fún yín ní CV ẹ̀, ẹni kò sọ CV ẹ̀. Kí ni background ẹ̀ láti Nigeria? Because wọ́n náà ṣe program tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ sí ni, I don't know what he says, mo ti gbọ́. Ẹ béèrè pé kí ni background bàbá àti ìyá ẹ̀ ní Nigeria, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá mọ̀. Pé ta ni bàbá àti ìyá ẹ̀, kó fún wa lórúkọ bàbá àti ìyá ẹ̀ ní Nigeria. Àti pé báwo ló ṣe dé London, ṣó fi visa wọlé ni àbó wọlé through ship àtomi láti ọ̀nà àwọn tó ń wọlé. àbọ̀bí síbí báyìí. Ìjìnlẹ̀ value country tí ìjìnlẹ̀ wà, ìlú yàn ní value, ó kàn jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti gbìyànjú pé economy wọn is dead. Ẹ lọ wo inflation tó wà ní Turkey lálẹ́ yìí, ẹ máa bá ìjìnlẹ̀ sunkún. Gbogbo tó ń gbé ìjìnlẹ̀ dúró nísìn kò ríṣẹ́ kankan tó ń ṣe. Kódà wo ò ṣe kankan ju pé kó má dàbí pé àwọn tó wà ní Turkey yóò kàn knock wọn off. So ìjìnlẹ̀ nísìn is just living on the
Distortion.
Ẹ lọ gbọ́ program ẹ̀, mo sì gbọ́ kọjá lánàá, màá kàn play màá wò ó báyìí pé gbogbo tó ń sọ nísìn kò relevant mọ́ àtìgbà country, but because people are used to
Distortion.
they've been carried away. Ká tẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé, which we should not bracket you like that. Ṣé ibi ló ń pa yín ni? Ìyà ló ń pa yín ni? Why is it difficult to understand the difference between àtìgbà country àti àìtìgbà country? Okay, àtìgbà country. Number one, let me give you the total number of the last view of Ìjìnlẹ̀, because Ìjìnlẹ̀ rò pé bí àwọn bá gbogbo in tó ń sọ kò dé community ẹ̀ ní local government ẹ̀. Gbogbo tí Ìjìnlẹ̀ ń sọ ní Turkey ẹ lọ sí community ẹ̀ kò débẹ̀. Ìyẹn tó bá jẹ́ pé ó ní local government ibi tí bàbá ẹ̀ ti jáde àti ìyá ẹ̀, ẹni kọ́ lọ béèrè pé in tó ń sọ ní Turkey yẹn ṣé wọ́n ń gbọ́ ní local government ẹ̀. Some of you think that in town sọ ní bíbá ẹ̀ ló ń gbọ́ káàkiri. Olóyè sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, Olóyè sọ̀rọ̀ through OLAYOMI KOIKI. Within 24 hours, the whole of Nigeria was shaking. So I keep wondering that our country, but our message and information continue to shake the country that is still existing, because Nigeria is still existing. I was at the airport today. At least mo rí àwọn tó jẹ́ Nigerians tí mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Nigeria ni wọ́n. Mo rí àwọn tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n wá bá grandma wọn tó ṣẹ̀dé. Kódà ẹ̀rí mo ra grandma ẹ̀ bí àwọ̀ sọ fún grandma pé òtútù ni, because bí àwọ̀ sọ fún grandma pé weather yẹn ó ti fear díẹ̀, because wọ́n ìyá ẹ̀ bọ́ ṣe múra yìí sínú weather tútù mọ́. But ẹ̀wọ̀n inú plane náà máa ń tútù tó bá ti wọ̀ ní o. Ìwọ tó wọnú plane náà ò lè mọ bó ṣe rí o. Tó bá dé òkè yẹn tó bá dé àwọn attitude kan, wàá máa dàbí ìwà tó yẹ pé òtútù mú ẹ. O lè máa shake, o lè máa gbọ̀n, ìgbẹ́ lè máa gbọ̀n, òtútù lè máa mọ gbogbo wa máa ṣe ẹ́. Tó bá yẹ pé first time àníyẹn tó máa kọ́kọ́ wọ plane. Bàbá regular báyìí àwa ti wọ bẹ̀ báyìí. Ẹ̀gbẹ́ window lè ní máa ń fẹ́ jókòó sí, so that tó bá máa tẹ̀ lánà kí n lè mọ tó fẹ́ lánà. Ẹ̀gbẹ́ window ni máa ní kọ́ fún mi. O dẹ̀ máa ti book ẹ̀. Ìyàwó comfort ni èpè ni wọ́n ń ṣẹ́ ní Ìjìnlẹ̀ program. Dúpọ̀ Onítìrí repeating herself and cursing. Distorted information. Dúpẹ́ wá take advantage of a current information tó ń lọ pé Yorùbá country máa dé. Ẹ̀bọ̀ Koiki ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ṣe kẹ́ máa declare. Ǹjẹ́ ta bá declare bá ṣe ní a fẹ́ declare tí a dẹ̀ hold the territory yẹn, ìjẹ́rú èmi di gbọ́dọ̀ jókòó báyìí kí n máa bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ kẹ́ máa wò pé mo ti wá rí i pé ojú ò lè ti Ìjìnlẹ̀, because whatever the background is already showing, tó bá jẹ́ pé rú èmi, but Ọlọ́run lè jẹ́ kó jẹ́rú àwa, because wọ́n gbé àwa jáde láti inú ilé tó dáa. Kò ń ṣe pé mo fi ń dẹ́nu, inú ilé tó dáa láti jáde. Màá wá declare Yorùbá nation, màá tún máa wá jókòó, màá tún máa wá sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. Kí ni kàn mí pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà? Ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú mi ló yẹ kí n máa sọ bá ṣe fẹ́ move ìlú yẹn síwájú. But because àwọn tó wà ní diaspora wọ́n sọ fáyìn tó wà nílé pé ẹ ti gba country, and eventually that country tẹ́ gbà yẹn kò sí lórí world map. Ẹ mọ̀ pé kò ní dialing code. so tíjìlẹ̀ bá fẹ́ pe tó bá fẹ́ pe country nísìn á tún máa lo dialing code Nàìjíríà. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ìlú kan wà tó ń pè ní Gibraltar, the whole population is 43,000. It's a British territory. They have their own dialing code. But that is just for those of you that are saying you got a country. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́ wo numbers a little bit. Let's push the numbers. Orí page Ìjìnlẹ̀ ni mo wà báyìí nísìn. Gbogbo subscriber tí Ìjìnlẹ̀ ní lórí YouTube, which is the money platform tó fi ń operate, tó fi ń ṣe àìsùn, because àìsùn ló ń ṣe rí gbogbo àwọn ìyá tó wà lábẹ́ program yẹn èmi ò lọ́kàn lé o, èmi ti wà ní menopause, wọn ò níṣẹ́ kankan, èmi ti wà ní depression stage tẹ́lẹ̀, so Ìjìnlẹ̀ kọ̀ gba gbogbo wọn, ó yá ṣe lè sọ̀rọ̀, ó yẹ máa bọ̀, Ọ̀jọ́rẹ́ Elizabeth ẹ máa bọ̀, bàbá pastor ẹ máa bọ̀, ó kó gbogbo wọn, ó wá gbé wọn sábẹ́ Zoom. Ẹ dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé mo sọ lẹ́ǹkan pé tó o bá travel rí tó bá dé airport Nàìjíríà wà halẹ̀ mọ́ ẹ o, tó bá rí pé brand new passport ni pẹ̀lú UK visa. But irú àwa tẹ́ pé ìgbà tẹ́mi fẹ́ travel wọ́n ti debrief mi dáadáa, tí immigration kan bá kò ṣe pé máa gba létí tó bá challenge mi, tí mo mọ̀ pé mi ṣèbí nísìnyí yìí ṣe ń submit visa, èmi lọ ṣe interview ní l'Abuja, òyìnbó interview mi nínú QB box, ó bi mí ní question mo dá lóhùn, màá wá dé airport tí mo fẹ́ travel, immigration àwa máa sọ fún mi pé kí ni mo lọ ṣe London, òun ló issue visa fún mi. But today lénìí tó bá dàrú ọ̀la wọ́n sì máa jẹ an average Nigeria tó gbé passport dání tó níjẹ̀ ní UK visa, because the country has given you the impression that they own you. But tó bá wá land sí UK, you realize that wow, so kò tẹ̀ lé tó yìí rárá. So Ìjìnlẹ̀ says he's speaking to Yoruba people around the world. According to him, 206 people are watching him live right now. They are so excited. They are happy people. One out of country. The whole followers Ìjìnlẹ̀ is less than 9,000. And as I go into his page right now, Ìlú Ìbàdàn, Ẹ̀kẹ́ Adélé káàbọ̀, apá ọ̀kànlénígba ó lé mẹ́jọ. What's all this nonsense? It's because we have àwọn tí kòkòrò ń ta lórí. The country that we are all talking about, yes, tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n dúró lórí awareness nìkan nísìn pé wọ́n ti make it that fraudulent or distorted tó ń pè ní àwọn ti declare country, ó ṣe máa gbọ́ sétí pé òkè Ìjìnlẹ̀ ń jáde ó ń ṣe program ó ń condemn Nigeria, but you are condemning Nigeria when you have more other business engagement. Bàbá Akíntóyè gbéṣẹ́ lé àwa lọ́wọ́ nísìn is a 95-page manifesto àti wà ní week 9. Every week ni mo educate gbogbo ra wa àtèmi náà lórí ntí Bàbá Akíntóyè fún wa. Hallelujah, that's what they're commenting here. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, ó ti ṣẹ́gun fún wa. Ṣé rí pé wọ́n abuse Ọlọ́run, because Ọlọ́run ò ṣe òmùgọ̀. Yes, they are Yorubas. We are not disputing that. But the line tó wà láàrin àwa méjèèjì nísìn ni pé their information is now distorted, which is a problem we're talking about in Nigeria. Yorùbá ni wọ́n lóòótọ́, àmọ́ the information that they are pushing out to the members of, let's use the word public, has been distorted, heavily distorted, because you are coming out to say that you have a country. There's even an interim government. Yeah, Owanadele part 220 218. And diaspora dẹ̀ jókòó wọ́n dẹ̀ ń gbọ́ gbogbo eléyìí. A diaspora that lives in a civilized society. Ṣé mọ̀ pé tíyàn bá fẹ́ apply fún iṣẹ́ nísìn nílùú yìí, wọ́n máa ní kó mú share code ẹ wá. Àwọn tó ń gbé nílùú yìí understand nǹkan tí mo sọ. That's if you don't have a British passport. Kò ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló ní British passport ní UK o. If you are one of those that doesn't have a British passport, and you are now told to go and give us your share code, kó wá máa sọ pé, I don't have the share code. The question then is, how are you going to get the job? Because the share code is what implies that you have the right to remain in the country. Ẹni kí ìjìnlẹ̀ fún yín ní share code in tó mú confirmation pa àwọn ti gba country jáde. A kàn ń gbọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ kí Koiki rí blueprint o, àti bàbá Akíntóyè àti Ìgbòho, ẹ má jẹ́ kó rí blueprint o. And many diaspora that lives in America, I believe, tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n follow it as an awareness program, an awareness platform, we don't have a problem with that. But the fact that there is a distorted line, àárín méjì kan wà tó jẹ́ pé irọ́ ti wà láàárín ẹ̀, and that is àtìgbà country wa, but wọ́n lè hold the country yẹn nítorí pé another country wà lórí ẹ̀ tó ń pè ní location 419. So what they are now doing is that every day they come out, wọ́n máa attack Tinubu, tó bá rí pọ́rọ̀ Tinubu yàn ní tàbí ẹ̀, wọ́n á gbà sí bàbá Akíntóyè, wọ́n á attack bàbá Akíntóyè, wọ́n á attack Ìgbòho, and that is what they are doing on their platform on a daily basis. And like our grandmother says there, pastor kan wà láàrin wọn, ṣe pé yẹn, you wonder pé ṣé pastor ni ṣá? But mo fẹ́ ká bú pastor, torí pé tá bá ní ká máa bú pastor, it is the individualism ló ń distort information. And but this goes on, kò ń ṣe léni ló ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀. The world is full of evils. Àwọn tẹ́ ń rí lọ́dọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ àtòun fúnra rẹ̀, they've become another evil that doesn't want to accept the truth, because bí ìgbà táwa ń sọ òtítọ́ fún Nàìjíríà, a tún gbọ́dọ̀ máa wá sọ òtítọ́ fáwọn náà báyìí. Because ẹni kan prove ẹ̀ pọ̀ ti gba country, kò ṣe prove. A kàn ń gbọ́ reclamation. Kódà Daddy Sam wà lára àwọn tó ṣe crest tá a máa ń wọ̀ sára yẹn, tó send láti America, tó send ẹ̀ lọ Nàìjíríà. Ó wá lọ, bàbá àwọn àdúró síwájú UN building. Ẹ̀rọ ní Yorùbá YDP àti gba country níwájú building tó yẹ pé ṣèbínú airport ni gbogbo yín ti rí mi tí mo wà for 1 hour plus. Kí wá sọ fún yín pé bí ṣe wà nínú airport yìí, kí wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí fabricate in tí kò sí fabricate. Ṣé mo pa àwọn yẹn máa pè mí pé Koiki ó jẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan tó máa tún máa, because ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ yóò add up now. I just wanted to bring that into the program. Let's come back to the discussion of the day. And like I gave you the last one, the last program tí Jìlẹ̀ ṣe yàtọ̀ sí ìtàn ṣe lọ́wọ́ nísìn. Èyí tó ṣe ní 5 hours ago, ẹ mọ̀ pé marathon làwọn ń ṣe. Like I said, gbogbo àwọn ìyá tó wà lábẹ́ àtàwọn bàbá, wọn lọ́kọ́ ńlé, wọ́n ti wà ní monopost, àwọn bàbá yẹn gbogbo wọn. So Ìjìlẹ̀ kàn ń lò wọ́n tóun bá fẹ́ sùn. Turkey is about 2 hours ahead of London. So Ìjìlẹ̀ wà ní 4 o'clock. So a ti calculate pé ó dà àwọn ìyá yìí ẹ̀yin òkúkúrò ń tẹ́fẹ́ sọ ẹ̀yẹn ṣe bá wa gbé program yẹn, òun ayá lọ sùn tiẹ̀. It's all madness, real madness. But ẹ má jẹ́ kó jọ wá lójú. Madness ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Mo sọ fún yín pé ká tó kúrò lórí ti Sweden yìí, kọ́ mo fẹ́ tètè kúrò lórí ẹ̀. These two people were meant to be back in London before the final of the Euro. But bí ṣe bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí, àwọn méjèèjì ti jọ́ lọ ní pé lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó ń yìnbọn pa wọ́n tán, wọ́n sùn wọ́n sínú mọ́tò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka story yẹn díẹ̀. Mo ní bí báyìí ni máa ti ṣí ọkàn yín kúrò lára Nàìjíríà. Èmi ò tí sọ fún yín pa ti gba country. We are not running a violent organization, neither are we running a violent movement. But with my media, I would enlighten you to the basic understanding so that about is okay. Ó ti yá, ẹ tún ní máa bí mi pé because àwọn tí a ta prepare púpọ̀ ní wọ́n wà lọ́dọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ nísìn tán ní Koiki shut up onírọ́ nìyẹn ìwà tí bàbá Akíntóyè àti Ìgbòho ẹ̀kọ́ gbé wa ní mugun but a gbé wọn ní mugun but right now wọ́n ò tí mọ̀ pé àwọn wà ní mugun because they are still in the illusion that they have a country. Lójoojúmọ́ tó bá jáde wò I am not in your country. Wọ́n ní Koiki ṣé ká sẹ́ni kó pọ̀ ni mo ní no mo kí mo fẹ́ máa fi náírà ṣe bíbá mo fẹ́ lọ rán ní test code. I just need it for my specimen for my program. Airport tí mo lọ lọ́sàn-án mo ṣe gba ilé ìdè ni 1,000 naira lórí yẹn ẹlòmíì ní ìdí 1,000 yìí bí ìgbà tó yẹ pé 1 million ni but kò ní value 200 naira lélẹ̀ mo ní kọ́ bá mi send 50 naira náà wọ́n bá mi send 500 naira wọ́n dẹ̀ send 100 naira and some other things that is not for public consumption. Kò sí nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ Nàìjíríà mo sọ fún ẹ pé mo ní láti wá Nàìjíríà. I don't need to be in Nigeria before I taste anything I want in Yoruba land because Nigeria is not a country. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka story lé. British travel agent fear shot dead in a burnt car in Sweden. 2 people believed to be missing British travel agents have been found shot dead in a burnt car in Sweden. The families of the London-based Julian Cifuentes and Farouk Abdulrazak had reported the man missing and have been supported by the Foreign Office. That is a country. How many Nigerians will get foreign assistance? I mean, we do get 1 or 2. Abekedabiri Mashi Paparazzi. I mean, Libya and all that. But in reality, many Nigerians do not get support. Some do, but majority do not. Èèyàn kan béèrè ìyá bàbá wa kan béèrè pé Koiki, where is the $1 million Ijile Dupe collected? Ẹ̀yin ò raṣọ sójà tó rà ní pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀bọ̀n tó rà wọ́n dẹ̀ rọ̀kadà ìyẹn náà ti lọ. The bodies thought to be Julian, almost 33 years old, and Farouk, 37, were found by the firefighters inside a burnt Toyota RAV4, which they had rented at an industrial estate in Malin, Sweden, on Sunday. The last one, Ele, ọmọ 19 years old, láti June 17 ló ti sọnù. Ó lọ sí Spain, Tenerife, for the first time on his first holiday out of UK. Kò padà wá mọ́, ibẹ̀ ló kú sí. Wọ́n ṣe rí bọ́dì ẹ̀ níjọ́ Sunday tó lọ yìí. 19 years old. He went on the mountain, he never came back. Why am I trying to bring all these into the program? It's for me to let you know that there are crimes committed around the world, but solution will be found for them. Your comfort, Ologunjani, their nation has been declared on TikTok by Obama. Safety domain, Tani àbá ṣe mugun, Tani kò bá ṣe mugun tí kò bá ń ṣe àwọn ọmọlẹ́yìn 2x2. Ẹnu Ọlọ́run dání $1 million to go to Dupe, money that is not up to what Dupe will use to buy wine. Let's take our mind away from that, their own wahala, and come back to the Nigerian economy to focus the lori, because we are here discussing the Nigerian economy and we want to find out, why is this economy not buoyant? Why is the Nigerian economy not strong? Why is the Nigerian economy going down every blessed week? Because diaspora Lima were excited that if 10 pounds will give somebody 20,000 naira, but that same 20,000 naira does not support this person as an individual for 7 days. Look, I give people 20,000 naira sometimes. I can tell you that 20,000 naira is not going to solve their problem. Into manya mi leno inte man biri wo. And I'm not here to bring anybody down. Tẹ́ bá wá lẹ́ni tẹ́ sọ pé ebi ń pa yín, Mr. Koiki àwọn ọmọ mi ò tí ì jẹun látàárọ̀. Àánú wa máa ń ṣe yín. Okay? Ẹni tó bá wá ní anoda, ẹ send account number yín wá. Wá fún yín ní just to make it look good, 50,000 naira, right? Okay. So what happened after 2 weeks? Ẹ mọ̀ pé ní ilé wa sọ́dọ̀ tèmi àbí? Ṣé tún máa ń lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹlòmíì ni àbí báwo? Because ṣé mọ̀ pé ibi tó ń pa yín yẹn, because there is 365 days in a year. There are 7 days in a week. And we know that there's 30 days in a month. Ṣé owó yẹn máa last yín? Ìyẹn mo ṣe pop owó yẹn kọ́mú kọ́kọ́ fi sọ pé 10,000 naira. Because our diaspora a mọ̀ nípa ká fún yín ní 10,000 naira. Because lójú wa àwa máa ń rò pé owó tó pọ̀ ni, but mo mọ̀ pé lọ́dọ̀ tí yín owó yẹn tó ń kọ̀ọ̀kan. Is a 50,000 naira can survive a family of 4 for 1 month? I don't know. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà Nigeria, help me out. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ dẹ̀ diaspora, tẹ́ ní family nílé. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń darapọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa appreciate yín díẹ̀díẹ̀. Even though a ti ṣe almost 2 hours, but máa wò bí tobacco di 2 hours ká end programming. I just wanted to do a program before I go to bed. Mo kí Grandma Ilé Ajayi. Mo kí Mr. Iyawa Idris rather. Oh, Mr. rather, Idris Abimbola. Can 50,000 naira support a family of 4? Bàbá ìyàwó àtọmọ méjì for 1 month. Then after 1 month, tẹ́ ẹ bá rí 50,000 naira mi, kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Ṣé máa gbàwẹ̀ fún 1 month tó kù ni? The value of the naira, the value of the Nigerian economy is really affecting many of our loved ones at home. Mo kí sister mi àwọn tí a mọ̀ sí mo ń bọ̀ mo fi get orúkọ wọn, Ìgbòho Iron Lady. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín lè máa mọ̀ wọ́n, ẹ dẹ̀ ti lè máa gbọ́hùn wọn díẹ̀díẹ̀. Àwọn náà lọ rúbọ láìpẹ́ yìí, not rúbọ, wọ́n lọ ṣe ìwúre, ẹ jẹ́ kí n correct ara mi níbẹ̀ yẹn. Wọ́n lọ ṣe tán pè ní ìwúre, just like bí church yín náà. Èmi náà máa ń sọ fún yín, ẹ má rò pé mò ń ṣeré ni. Mo láwọn pastor tèmi náà máa ń gbọ́ program wọn, mo dẹ̀ máa lọ ń gbọ́ àwọn kan tó yẹ pé prophecies. Bọ́ mo fi fún yín lórúkọ wọn. Bọ́ lábẹ́ program yẹn, bọ́ ṣe ń ṣe prayer yẹn náà làwa náà ṣe lọ ṣe ìwúre. So when some of you are saying, Koiki, ẹ má máa show kìíní, èyí tó ń show yẹn kò tí pọ̀ jù tó. And it is our culture, it is who we are. It's just like bí Muslim náà ṣe ń polongo ẹ̀sìn wọn lórí social media. Èyí tó bá jẹ́ ẹni tí kò jẹ́ kó lọ live àwọn ọmọ tó wà nílé tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún mi, wọ́n mọ èyí tó yẹ kó ṣe. So tẹ́ bá ń wo àwọn program bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, ẹ̀yin ò ní láti máa comment, Koiki, stop showing this, stop showing this. So mo kí sister mi Olúwafúnkẹ́ Ọbaláyọ̀ Adéṣínà, mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ Ìgbòho Iron Lady. Mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń wò mí láti Àgbárá ní Ogun State. Mo ní jẹ́ kó pẹ́ kí gbogbo wa lè lọ sùn. So èmi náà mo ti busy látàná. Kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ kí àlàáfíà tó ara. Airport tí mo wà yẹn, I spent like over 5 hours. Train dẹ̀ ni mo wọ̀ lọ. So it's been a long day, but that is life. Grandma mi á ní ọjọ́ kú lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi. kò yé mi nígbà tí grandma mi máa ń sọ until when she died. Ọjọ́ kú lọ́jọ́ ìsinmi. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó máa kú láàrin gbogbo wa nísìn. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní ìlú kan wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó ń pè ní Òfìkì. Nǹkan dáhùn níbẹ̀ fún wọn. Ọlọ́run àtúbọ̀ jẹ́ kó máa dáhùn. Mo wá ní brother mi kan tí ó wà níbẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé Èkó ló ti ń ṣiṣẹ́. Àwọn Yorùbá die hard ni wọ́n. Gbogbo yín pátápátá ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ló ní ìrìn àjò yìí, àmọ́ àwọn ọmọ ènìyàn la máa parí ẹ̀. Ẹ mọ́rọ̀ tí mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, mo ní báwo mo ṣe put ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ta la fẹ́ béèrè Yorùbá nation lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀? Right now, à ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ Tinubu àbí? Lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí. Ṣé mo pa Abi Buhari kò dá wa lóhùn? Ó ní ẹnu wa ń rùn. À ń bi international community, wọ́n ní ká lọ bá government wa, ká lọ yanjú ẹ̀. But tásìkò bá tó, à níyànjú. It is a non-violent movement. But lórí ìrìn àjò education ni by the time tí a bá ti open brain ara wa ta ti ní understanding ẹ̀, ṣé rí gbogbo àwọn tó ṣe ní fẹ́ lọ protest Nigeria, ẹ jẹ́ kó lọ protest, ẹ má stop anybody. Mo dẹ̀ like sister mi Yorùbáwòyí, mo gbọ́ program tiwọn náà. I've spoken to Chief about the protest. It is not in the public interest for me to tell you what we spoke about, but we had a deep conversation surrounding that protest. But like I said, it is not for public consumption. I give him up-to-date information, especially things that I want him to know, not that he might not have known, because a lot of reports, security reports, this, that, we have a lot of intelligence and so many other things that I keep him up to date. Koda, my last audio to Chief, and I know that Ibama Vekpari programming, what he replied me, was just at about 12 midnight. In your time, Tiwa, just before, I would say about 10 minutes before 12 midnight, need the last audio, Timushi send it to him. Ibama Vekpari programming, I won't be surprised that he has replied me, because I wanted to give him a quick update on something that I... So, lórí àwọn tó fẹ́ protest, bẹ́yìn bá nẹ́yìn òfin tẹ̀lé wọn lọ, it's fine, because àwa kọ́ la pé protest, rally làwa dẹ̀ ń ṣe, and it's non-violent, it's a peaceful one. But àwọn tó náà wọ́n fẹ́ end bad governance nítorí Naira ti depreciate, how are they going to reboot the system? Ṣé mo pé mo ní laptop mi kan, ó ń fún mi ní headache, wàláì, tí mùsùlùmí bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn kan ní kẹ́yẹ́ máa sọ wàláì irọ́ lọ́wọ́ àbẹ̀, but àti use mọ́ náà ni. Ṣé mo pé laptop yẹn nísìn lálẹ́ yìí nísìn mo kọ́ ra gbé, ó kọ́ ẹ̀ pé mo lè show yín ní background mi ni, tẹ bá rí ibi ṣe kọ́ wáyà yẹn, ó dẹ̀ tán náà, ó ti wà ní orange báyìí, ó ń charge lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀yin tẹ bá lọ sórí Koikimedia Odùduwà, ẹ rí pé mo wà live níbẹ̀, it's on the laptop. What am I trying to say is that when some of you that are in the denial that Yorùbá nation ò ní wá sí ìmúṣẹ, ojoojúmọ́ lẹ́ ń pariwo, ẹ̀ ń jáde lórí media, ẹ kàn fi wá gbowó ni, àwọn kan ti sọ yẹn, gbogbo yẹn story ni, story for the God. Nǹkan kan làwa ń jẹ ká tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá nation. Bá dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó sọ pé ó lè má ṣe wàhálà báyìí tá à ń rí ká má ràn ẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Kò possible. Ìwọ náà lè expect pé gbogbo bó ṣe ràn mí lọ́wọ́ yẹn kí n wá dá síta padà. But what I am saying is that ṣe rí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation ó ti kọjá ibi tẹ́yìn rò lọ. Wọn náà máa hijack, mo ní kò tí sẹ́ni tó lè hijack Yorùbá nation, because this generation is different from Baba Adébánjọ. Èmi rí Baba Adébánjọ, mo wọn tó sọ fún mi. So just to go back to the topic, because àsìkò mo dẹ̀ ń wo time, mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ keep àwọn èèyàn awake too much, because mo mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn fẹ́ gbọ́ nǹkan tá à ń sọ. Ẹlòmíì ò tẹ̀ mọ̀ tó ń bọ̀ ní àyà wọn kàn ń já, ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀, kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń bọ̀ tí ọba Elédùmarè tí kò ní handle. But there is still room for the government to negotiate. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àgbọ̀n kan tí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Jọjà kí n lásán ní.
1998, just before the handover to the democratic elected government, Yoruba did not want to go for anything like Nigeria again. But then it failed. Look at where we are. Yoruba has been losing ground since 1914.
Yoruba has been losing ground since 1914. One of the reasons is because as long as tó bá sì jẹ́ Yorùbá, tó wá ní ó fẹ́ Yorùbá country but ó fẹ́ Nigeria, you will not survive with this messed up money. And this money will not prop up or be able to defend itself. What do I mean by the Naira defending itself? À ń gbọ́ Akérédolú sọ̀rọ̀ níjẹta àbí jẹrin nísìn pé kò sí productivity. So that is what Tinubu should be thinking about, not talking about local government autonomy. Ẹni kí Ṣèyí Mákindé kó kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ productivity ní gbogbo 33 local government ní Ìbàdàn or in the whole of Oyo State. Because the Nigeria that you want to survive on is going down. And Oma Sinki Bugowa, it might not happen straight away. I haven't read the article, but Moridele Momodu Egbowa, let me see if I can bring that quickly, because Bishembe program any Mori, and I did not know what he wanted to talk about, but it's got to do Dele Momodu. Ori is Dele Momodu. That's in here. Ori Facebook page one, and that one's okay, yeah, that's it here. I've not read it, but Mokorito sọ pé urgent message for President Tinubu. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ní message fún Tinubu báyìí. Jagaban, everybody has a message for you. Everybody have a message for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ̀n kan tí Bob D sọ. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa ni wọ́n. I have just read Mr. Reno Omokere. That guy, tó ń pè ní Reno, owó tó jẹ nígbà Jonathan, òun ló ń lọ lọ́nkàn yẹn. Ṣé rí gbogbo tó ń ṣe ní orí social media? Ẹ mọ̀ pé tíyàn bá tó bá ti arrive débi kan bí tòun bẹ́ẹ̀ is all again distraction and distortion. These were people that destroy Nigeria. Jonathan government is one of the worst governments. Ṣé Buhari la kàn sọ pé worst? By the time tí Tinubu náà bá ṣe tán, ṣe bá ti gbọ́ tó ọmọ Yorùbá sọ pé Tinubu ó wá ń jẹ́ ká máa mísì Buhari torí Buhari ti gbé lọ́ọ̀fù lọ. The Naira cannot defend itself. Ẹ gbọ́ mi dáadáa ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá. Owó yìí wọ́n ṣe fi ránṣẹ́ sí mi ni mo ṣe lọ gbà lẹ́pọ̀tì ni mo kàn ní mo ní the specimen fún kí n máa fi ṣe program mi. This money cannot defend itself. It is dead. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, Reno is just catching cruise and seeking attention. Gbogbo Peter Obi jẹ president. Peter, look, Igbo never jẹ president. Let me say that in English. The Southeast would never be the president of Nigeria. It's not me saying it. It's the system, that the structure. Look, the Yoruba doesn't want it to be. The Yoruba doesn't want the Igbos to be the president. Neither does the Hausas, because everybody believe that the Igbos that destroy, according to some, I don't buy that nonsense, because at the end of the day, I want to deal with the problem from the 1914, but people always want to deal with the problem from wherever they want to deal it from. Because if we are dealing with a problem, don't give me half-baked from 1960. Let's go back to 1914, the basic. Because if we will never march together, the tendency that somebody will come and destroy a regional government that was set up, because that has been the argument of a lot of Yoruba people. They destroyed the regional government and go rose and and then those one will also say that it was not like, and we are going back and forth and fighting each other. Why not let us leave that section? Let's go and play the politics or the game of what played out in okay, let me put this question out. While this just popped to my head now. Was the Igbos part of the negotiation of the 1914 amalgamation? Was the Yoruba part of it? Was the Hausa part of it? Ẹ bá ń fi sínú comment section. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá tún wò, ẹ bá ń comment. Màá wá review comment yín later. Nígbà tí wọ́n ń join wa papọ̀ ní 1914 amalgamation, ṣé àwọn Igbo náà wà lára àwọn tó sign amalgamation yẹn treaty? Because tó bá wà lára àwọn tó sign amalgamation treaty, I wouldn't know what to say further. Ta ló sign amalgamation treaty? Awolowo did not sign it. From what we were told, Awolowo was just a minor. Kò tẹ̀ mọ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 1914. We talk about Mandela. Mandela was born 4 years after that amalgamation of Nigeria. Safety Domain was even saying that, was there any negotiation? There was none. Àwọn kan náà wọn bá kan wà nígbà yẹn, wọ́n sọ fún wọn pé ọmọ amalgamate wa. I don't know. I don't have any proof to anything. West Spring was so, but all we know is that something played out in 1914, and this is what this man had to say, because we just have to play this, even though at Igboteleri.
More soldiers, more police, but don't take anybody to where they don't. You are the land.
No, Koshele. We need the old one.
Nigeria is expired in 2014.
Mo kí àtọ́gbẹ́mi lọ́nà káàbọ̀ sórí ìkànnì wa, káàbọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. If Nigeria has expired in 2014, which is about 14 years ago, why then do we want to save the Nigerian economy? Ẹ jẹ́ ká kan tí Délé Momodu sọ, mo mọ̀ tó kọ, àjọmọ̀ kan náà ni. Everybody sending a message to Tinubu. Tinubu mà ti dáràn báyìí. Urgent message for President Bola Tinubu. I have just read Mr. Reno Mokere respond to my earlier article titled Urgent Message for President Tinubu. Since I am not a fan of fake economic theories, again, economic là ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ náà látàárọ̀ kó tó di pé a kàn deviate a little bit to onítìrí, but we are coming back again to the realistic of the program. That bear no positive impact on society and the citizens. I won't waste my readers' time on trading words with Reno. I will only make the following observations. Number one, what happened to my brother Reno that he feels he must defend many of the most atrocious policies of Tinubu's government with a question mark? I believe Reno is too brilliant to waste his talent on a government that can't even defend itself in good conscience. There is a lot happening in Nigeria. Amasun, we have 7 minutes to the end of the program. And this is good to end the program with, because we have been talking about how many people want to defend the Naira, even though the Naira doesn't want it to be defended. They use the central bank, the forex that we didn't have, to defend the Naira. Now we don't even have enough forex anymore. Our debt continues to be spiral. IMF is telling us that, look, we're going to get, the World Bank gave us $2.5 billion. I told you I will come back after 1 year to check with you if you were giving part of that money through whatever means, because owó tó gbà yẹn, according to the World Bank, it was meant for the masses, people like you and me suffering in Nigeria. Number two, according to Dele Momodu, urgent message for President Tinubu. When did Reno become a born-again Tinubuist that he has forcefully taken over the jobs of Ajuri and Ononuga combined? Otherwise, he would have known the difference between economics an economy. The reason why everyone is crying out today is because Nigeria economy is a galloping economy. And not pé Prophet Adekunle sọ fún wa pé when Margaret Thatcher came to Nigeria, they said it was a galloping economy. You bring it like this, it comes back. You take it like this, it goes zigzag, like all those truck to Manjabo Loju Elegba. Economics deals mainly with textbook theories, while economy, E-C-O-N-O-M-I, Echo, Charlie, Oscar, November, Oscar, Mike, Yankee, or we say line Yankee, economy. Look, I'm sitting here right now. Ṣé mo kì í tún jẹun lálẹ́? Koiki má máa jẹun alẹ́ o. Ilẹ̀ ti ṣú lóru yìí. Kò dáa. Okay, kí ni ọ̀wá lè jẹ? Ṣé mo lè jẹ apple? Look, while I'm sitting here, my thought is just thinking of so many things. The economy of UK is bad, but kò tí ì bad débi pé ká má ronjẹ jẹ. Kí ni mo sọ? Kò tí ì bad débi pé kí a má ronjẹ jẹ. Tó bá wá ronjẹ jẹ, for whatever reason mo bẹ̀ ni, oníwèé, má rò pé Nàìjíríà ló wà, má tijú pè mí, máa sọ àwọn ibi tó máa lọ tó máa fún ẹ lóúnjẹ. Èmi má fi àrùn, ṣàrùn lẹ máa ń pè, má jẹ́ kí àrùn kó look, Nàìjíríà ló lè ní ilẹ̀ ti gba ta lọ́rọ̀ wọn lánàá, mo gbèlùbọ́ lánàá, tí bá tún lọ léni pé mo fẹ́ òróró, ṣíwọ̀ ni máa béèrè pé kí ló dé? Lẹ́bí lábúrọ̀dì ni. Ibi báyìí ò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà, okay? Tó bá ṣe ìdè tó ti jápa, ó wá bá rẹ̀ ní situation tí kò jẹ́ kó bá rẹ̀. Mo ò ní fún ẹ lówó o. Èmi náà wọ́n ń tọ́jú, look, àwọn màmá tó ń wo ìyá, àwọn màmá ìyá àlè má dárúkọ wọn ni. Àwọn ló ń tọ́jú èmi náà, torí èmi ò ṣiṣẹ́ látọdún 3. À ń lọ pọ́dún 4. Iṣẹ́ kan tí mo gbà náà ni mo gbé dání. So inú ẹ̀ ni mo ti ń jẹ, ni mo ti ń tọ́jú, mo ò ṣiṣẹ́, inú ẹ̀ ni mo ti ń tọ́jú family. Iṣẹ́ kí ni mo tún fẹ́ lọ wá? Ẹ máa pè mí láàárọ̀, ẹ pè mí lọ́sàn. Gbogbo audio yín ló kún bíbáyìí tó lówó tí ì respond sí. Ṣé o mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ nìyẹn? Ṣé o mọ̀ pé àwọn audio yín, ẹ̀yin rò pé yàn kan ni mò ń bá sọ̀rọ̀? Ẹ̀yin lẹ̀yin bá yàn bí 10 sọ̀rọ̀ lórí kí. Look, WhatsApp yìí nísìnyí, mo ṣe tán nígbà tí mo dé ni. Látàárọ̀ ó wà pípa. Sori pé green message ni. Ó kún bẹ́ẹ̀ bámú. Everybody then wants me to respond to it. So tí bá wá jókòó sí bíbáyìí. And let me give you an example. Ẹ lè rò pé ọlọ́run pa. A máa padà sọ́dọ̀ Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù. Mr. Adekanbi, kí làwọn fi ránṣẹ́? Àwọn bíi mo mọ àwọn ilé nísìn. Ẹ̀gbọ́n nǹkan tó send.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the living Jesus.
Ṣé ńgbà tó bá send ilé nísìn, ṣé kí n delete ẹ̀ nàbí kí n gbọ́? Ìkànnì yẹn, mo bọ̀ o. Oríṣiríṣi group, ní lọ sí group, máa lọ sí individual. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí arákùnrin send sí mi.
In June, Oga, he said when Buhari went there to commission the refinery, that refinery was not ready. Yes, they were able to deceive Buhari. He is the president and he is the minister of oil. He is the president and he is the minister of petroleum. Yet he did not know that refinery was not ready. He went there and it...
Mo ti fẹ́ gbọ́ something similar like this. Màá kúrò lórí yẹn. Mo ní láti lọ sáwọn groups, because groups bombardment oríṣiríṣi ni, individual. Eléyìí nísìn mo tẹ̀ mẹ́ni nọ́mbà lásán ni. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ti send the message wa ní àti almost 11 p.m. lánàá. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àgbọ̀n tó send.
Hello, Koiki. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ o. Ẹ káalẹ́. Ẹ kú gbogbo iṣẹ́ takuntakun tẹ̀ ṣe. Mo fẹ́ pè tẹ́lẹ̀ ní, but mo realize pé possibly you might be sleeping because obviously going to work, doing a lot of shows and oríṣiríṣi. Àgàgà announcement I made recently regarding nǹkan tó lè sọ fáwọn Fúlàní láti get up.
Mo ní jẹ́ kẹgbọ́ ìtókù tán because mo mọ̀ tó fẹ́ sọ èmi náà ti gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀. Mo kàn fún this is what I'm dealing with. Fóònù méjì ni o. Ìkan wà lára àwọn fóònù yẹn. Òun dà. Òun lélẹ̀. Mẹ́sẹ̀gì orí eléyìí ọ̀tọ̀. Orí eléyìí ọ̀tọ̀. So where do you expect me to find the time láti tún lọ ṣe nǹkan mi? That is why I said from the beginning. Torí pé púpọ̀ nù yín ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ rìn àjò yìí ni. Èmi lè ní sọ, èmi ò sọ tẹlòmíì àwọn mídíà tó kù because èmi mú tó lókàlùkù ń ṣe. That full-time job níṣẹ́ tá gbé dání. Iṣẹ́ yìí ò ń ṣiṣẹ́ ká ṣe yọ́bọ́rọ́. Tá bá ń ṣe yọ́bọ́rọ́ àní débi tá à ń lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n kàn fún yín lọ́nà dá one more person ká tó tẹ̀síwájú. Àwọn grandma lélẹ̀. Àná ni grandma ti send the message láti 8:33 a.m. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àgbọ̀n tó sọ. Mo mọ̀ pọ̀rọ̀ àṣírí òkè sí lọ́rọ̀ tiwọn. Grandma Nàìjíríà ni grandma wà o. Ṣé tí grandma bá send the message nísìn tí mo bá reply? Ṣé grandma ni máa ní ìgbéraga ti dé? But tí gbogbo yín gbọ́dọ̀ rántí ni pé I am dealing with thousands of people that are sending message all over the world every day. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àgbọ̀n ti grandma sọ. Grandma gan ṣì wà lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì. Don't send the message yìí.
So mo tẹ̀sí ń dó sọ mo kàn ṣàdédé gbọ́ wọn láwọn àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kan wọ́n wá ń kìlọ̀ fún Sunday wípé kó má fi wípé kò láṣẹ láti sọ wípé kí àwọn Fúlàní kan kúrò ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti pàápàá pé ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá ó láṣẹ láti gbé ní Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú owó tó bá ń ṣe ni pé kí Sunday kó tọwọ́ mẹ́fọ́ aṣọ ó kàn dùn mí ká ní mo tètè mọ̀ nígbà kan rìkọ́ọ̀dù bí mo ṣe ń ṣe kó dìbò mi tẹ̀ wá mọ́nú pépà wo ni náà kọ́ kíní ẹ̀ sí.
That continue like that every blessed day. That is what I'm dealing with. Òfin ṣe àbí ìwọ náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ kó fi nọ́mbẹ̀ sí public and let people be asking am. But for me, àfẹ́ ṣe àdẹ sọ pé ó sú wa Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó sú wa kò dẹ̀ ní rẹwà. Mọ́yìn mi ní last man standing. Lẹ́yìn bá ti ń sùn lèmi máa ta yín jí. Ẹjẹ́ agbọ́n tí Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù àti Rẹ́nù tó ń gbà sí fúnra wọn kí lẹ sọ sà. Wọ́n ní economic deals mainly with textbooks, theories, while the economy deals with practical and realistic conditions of the people on a day-to-day basis. All economic ranting quoted by Reno have no meaning in Nigeria today. No textbook can emphasize or as such àwọn òyìnbó ńláńlá àwọn Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù náà kàwé àwọn òyìnbó gbẹ̀gbẹ̀gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ ìyàwó like àwọn òyìnbó ẹ bá wa máa ṣe ní ìtawà understand ẹ má dà wá lórí rúmọ̀lẹ̀ ní time láti máa lọ ṣe dictionary minutes ẹ ká gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ lálẹ́. Wọ́n ní all the economic ranting quoted by Reno jẹ́ṣẹ́ gé owó lọ́dọ̀ Jonathan bọ̀bọ̀ tẹ̀ ń rí yẹn ó jẹ́ṣẹ́ gé owó òun àti Abati. Have no meaning in Nigeria today. No textbook can emphasize or assuage the unprecedented hunger and the suffering of Nigerians. Our country, agbọ́dọ̀ lọ́wọ́ mi nínú ilé òyìnbó ìfẹ́ ó máa kọ́ èmi náà lẹ́nu nísìn. Our country is hagging to death. Délé Mọ̀mọ́dù ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Bob D. Máa pè lọ́la o. Ẹ má dà wá lórí ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wá English dictionary ẹ̀ mbolowa. Máa copy ẹ̀ because ibi tí mo ti ń wò yẹn mo like explorer. Ẹ jẹ́ kó kọ́kọ́ bá mi pronounce kíní yìí pronunciation ẹ̀ ni mo nídìí. Báwo ló ṣe máa pronunciation ẹ̀ la nídìí. Amorage mo láì dé àkàn tó ń sọ mẹ́yìn amorage ni tí torí ẹ̀ bá gbá nǹkan kan nísìn ẹ̀jẹ̀ á dì síbẹ̀ I hope I'm right ẹ jẹ́ ká wá mí nìyẹn màá spell ẹ̀ fún wa òun náà ni amoraging HAEMORRHAGING wọ́n ní to lose a large amount of blood in a short time. She started ẹ̀jẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣàn lóòótọ́ Nàìjíríà. Délé Momodu náà ti ríran. Wọ́n ní ẹni tó bá fẹ́ bímọ tẹ́jẹ̀ bá jáde tó pọ̀ lára ẹ̀ tètè wá ẹ̀jẹ̀ míì fi sí lára. Ní fẹ́ ẹ̀jẹ̀ míì sára Nàìjíríà. A fẹ́ bímọ tuntun. Yorùbá nation máa jáde, Igbo nation máa jáde, Arewa nation máa jáde, ẹ̀jẹ̀ dẹ̀ máa jáde. Ẹ jẹ́ ká rárá fi sílẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀, ẹ má yẹ kí n elaborate. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ máa jáde, ṣẹ̀rí tómi yẹn bá ti fọ́, tó bá wá nóhùn jáde, tó bá wá nóhùn jáde, èmi ti ní abẹ́rẹ́ epidural tèmi lọ́wọ́, èmi ò mọ̀ bí àwọn náà ti ní tiẹ̀ lọ́wọ́. Tó o bá ní lọ́wọ́ ṣáà lọ wá, torí tá bá ti bọ́ sórí M1, ọ̀nà tó bá rò pé o lè gún Nàìjíríà ní abẹ́rẹ́ tiẹ̀ kó lè tètè force ọmọ yẹn jáde, torí abẹ́rẹ́ epidural àwọn ìyá wa ló lè understand ẹ̀, wàá gún. Èmi mọ ibi tèmi máa ti gún, ìwọ náà ṣo mọ ibi tó máa ti gún. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sórí ọ̀rọ̀ Délé Momodu ká wá end the program yìí. Tó bá dọ̀la lágbára Elédùmarè, àtúbẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá nation òun lọ́nà àbáyọ. Àti mọ̀ meaning hemorrhaging. Ó ní our country, ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ bá sọ pé bleeding. Dáyàn lórí rú. Ẹ ṣe ẹni kàwé ní University of Ilé-Ifẹ̀, ẹ ṣe Yorùbá, ẹ ka gbogbo ẹ ti travel all over the world. Ẹ wá ń sọ fáwọn Nigerians tẹ̀bí ń pa pé hemorrhaging. Ṣé wọ́n mọ meaning hemorrhaging? Ọlọ́run ló ní kírú àwa wà níbí báyìí nísìn ká wà ní lecture room ká lè break, àbí ṣé kò yé wa bá ṣe ṣàlàyé nísìn. So ẹ jẹ́ ká wá túnbẹ̀ yẹn kà. Àwọ̀ ni wá lo hemorrhaging. Hemorrhaging yẹn òyìnbó ńláńlá ni, òyìnbó àwọn senior lecturer Délé Momodu, àwọn ọ̀nà àwọn ọ̀fẹ́ Yorùbá nation náà wọ́n kọ̀ jáde síta ni o. But wọ́n ní Nàìjíríà yẹn ká ṣe máa wò ná lábẹ́ PDP pẹ̀lú Àtíkù. Bob D. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ bó ṣe láti rí gangan. Our country is bleeding, and I will end it with one video, and that will be for it tonight. Ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́n tí mo wá polówó wòlíì fún ẹ níbi àtàfà àti babaláwo, bọ̀gbọ́n kan tí bàbá yìí sọ àtàárọ̀ ni mo ti gbọ́. Kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ kí n ṣèlérí lórí history mi. Fóònù yìí ti need upgrade.
We're missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We invite you to come to church with us this Sunday.
Money that's supposed to be used to help the poor, to help the needy, to help, and it's time to prophesy. It's time to go deeper. It is time to look at the spirit.
I see a strong protest and a lockdown náà ni. Kódà mo ní kólóyè náà gbọ́ ilé, olóyè iná gbọ́, mo ti send ẹ̀ sólóyè náà. Nílé gbọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀tàn 22 minutes ni, bóyá ká kọ̀ra gbọ́ díẹ̀ nípa tí bàbá yìí sọ lánàá. Mo ní kó believe tó ń sọ o, èmi náà believe o, irọ́ ni gbogbo wọn ń pa. But Délé Momodu jẹ́ kó yé wa pé our country is bleeding to death. Òyìnbó ńláńlá. Mo ń bọ̀, kí ló sọ bàbá?
It's a word, and begin to look at the things of the spirit and the way God is now opening the eye of his servant, the major prophet of God. And this is why the Lord has brought the major prophet of God to a place called Africa. And I'm right here in a place called Africa before I will now travel again in the realm of the spirit to enter America. This first of all to now speak the thing that concerns the African continent and especially the people of Nigeria. You will agree with me that when the Lord has opened the eyes of the major prophet of God and I begin to prophesy about what's called a food crisis that is about to come. Remember a prophecy given a few weeks ago. It is this week that Nigerian media and the newspaper are now beginning to say, oh, food crisis, the risk of food crisis. They now begin to talk about inflation, food inflation now is now going up. But they are not able to now take the eye of God to now enter into what's called a microscopic scanning to look at the month of
August, Katapuska Fatiala, and move out of the month of August and penetrate the month that is called the month of September. And move out of September and enter the month that is called the month of October. And move out of October and enter November and enter December. Nigeria must pray the prayer that they need to pray right now to be able to survive the month of September, October, November, December, and to now shout Happy New Year to enter January. The reason for this is because I am not a prophet that comes to play politics. I am a prophet that comes to digest what is in the spiritual world to the physical world, so that a layman and ordinary people can be able to know whether they are to pray or they are not to pray, whether they are to face it or they are not to face it, whether they are to do something, they begin to do something. Remember, I told you, I said, go and get some foodstuffs and put in your house. Because that's what's called a lockdown about to start in the spiritual world. Rakatoson. I am not intended to terrify anybody in the prophetic. Because I know that when I finish prophesying, people can now come and listen to it and digest it the way they want to digest it. Because I am going straight to the spiritual world to pick up what is in the realm and bring it to the physical realm. So anyhow you want to digest it or say it or take it, that one is your cup of tea. What I'm after is to look at the spiritual world and ask the people who are intercessors to be able to pray the prayer. Because that's what's called the spiritual man-made hunger that would result in what's called a total lockdown. And the spirit of the what's called this was called stoppage of food movement, and governors and different people from their state will now give order. Nobody moves food item out of their state. I don't know why.
Again, demo ben oran yola masun. Ani ri wàhálà. But tí wàhálà bá dé ńkọ́, kí la máa ṣe? A fẹ́ wàhálà bí. Ẹ ṣe the needful. Tí wàhálà bá dé, we will all have to bear the consequence. Ọmọ tuntun ni. Délé Momodu dẹ̀ ti bá a parí gbogbo ìtókù tó sọ, ìtókù ọ̀rọ̀ tó pọ̀ ni. Ó ní our country, èmi ìmọ̀ country tó ń sọ, bí a Yorùbá nation country ló ń sọ, bí a Arewa country ni, bí a Edo country ni, bí a Ijaw country ni, I don't know. But one, our country is bleeding to death right now. Délé Momodu ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Bob díẹ̀ gbọ́n mi dáadáa. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn olólùfẹ́ wa. Mr. Idowu Matthew, gbogbo yín pátá láyọ̀ ẹnì kankan sílẹ̀. Àfojúpọ̀ ẹnì kankan rẹ o. Mo kí ìyàwó ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, ẹ̀yin àǹtí mi, gbogbo yín tẹ́ ń wò mí. Ìwọ máa wò mí máa ní dey play. Èmi náà ń play náà, dájọ́ ń play, ọmọ kájọ́ ń play. Èmi kúkú ti lọ sí intro, mo ti rí àwọn oríṣiríṣi àwọn èèyàn. Mo ti ń dàbí àwọn èèyàn níbẹ̀. Àwọn fídíò kan wà tí mo ṣe tí mo máa post later, bọ̀kan ṣe lálẹ́, èmi náà lọ fẹ̀gbẹ́ lélẹ̀. Ọlọ́run fi ilẹ̀ Yorùbá sọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n máa gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa. Bí Ìgbò bá fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ wa, Ọlọ́run ní fún wọn ṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ kó sáré bá mi post account details kí n tó máa lọ sùn. Ìwọ náà bá ń gbọ́n wọ́n sáwo. Look, látago 2 hours la fẹ́ ṣe, ó ti lọ sí gbọ́n wọ́n sáwo, òun ló ń jù síbẹ̀ yẹn, ṣe gan ni. Oran ayọ̀ la máa sùn. Ẹni tó náà wọ̀n ní nọ́mbà mi, 1 minute, ẹ bá débi. Kódà bọ̀bọ́ kan pè mí láti orí out of the blues. Ó ní Koiki, kò ní Koiki, mo á pè wọ́n padà ní ṣé kò sí. Ó ní àwọn PR, àwọn máa ń bá àwọn báǹkì ṣiṣẹ́ ni. Wọ́n ní fídíò kan ta post orí Twitter kí n bá wọn pull it down. And I've done that already, even though I don't have to. Ẹ rántí fídíò nígbà tí olórí burúkú Emefiele tó pawó rẹ́. Owó yẹn náà lélẹ́yìí, wọ́n ti send ẹ̀ sí mi. Mo ṣe lọ gba airport lánàá ni. Ó ṣẹ̀dẹ̀, kódà ó ṣì ń run Nàìjíríà lára. Wàláì, ó ń rùn. Ẹ rántí àwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ pé Sterling Bank àbí Access Bank tó ń fo fence àwọn staff nígbà tójú ọlọ́mọ ò tọ́mọ. Wọ́n ní kí n jọ pé ká bá wọn pull it down. Kò cost mi lówó kankan. Ó ti wúlò fún gbà tó wúlò fún. Mo ní tí wọ́n máa ń sanwó fún un, ó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Iṣẹ́ táwọn máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Àwọn máa ń bá báǹkì wá gbogbo ibi tí crisis bá wà láti bá wọn yanjú ẹ̀. And I took the video down. I deleted it from my Twitter timeline. It cost me anything. But èyí tó ń bọ̀, gbogbo àná làtúntò máa. Ẹ rántí báǹkì yẹn táwọn ti sí àwọn báńkà tó kó pátá irọ́ kò kó pátá o ni mo fẹ́ exaggerate ni o tó ó ṣàfà skẹ́ẹ̀tì sókè kọ́ fìdí ẹ̀ ọ́ ti ṣe pé má jẹ́ kọ́ ká wa mọ́ bí ẹ rántí náà ọjọ́ báńkì ní Abẹ́òkúta ẹ má jó Lagos o ẹ fi Lagos sílẹ̀ o dey play àwọn ọmọ Gen Z wọ́n ti bínú tán bọ̀ ìyẹn ọmọ Gen Z end bad government ìyá mi bí dàmọ̀ pé ẹ tí ì sùn àbí night lẹ́ ń ṣe ni bí tèmi náà báyìí èmi náà ń ṣe night lọ́wọ́ ni ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ṣe night èmi àjọ ń ṣe night ni ìyá mi kan fọ́ tó lógun jà ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sùn ẹ rántí àwọn ọmọ Gen Z ní kàn pẹ̀lú báńkì àbí èmi ò mọ èmi kọ́ mọ̀ fọ́ ìtàn sọ tá à ń gbọ́ lórí TikTok ni o so nígbà tí bọ̀bọ́ yẹn pè mí mo bí pé mo tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ fi máa mi jọ́ mọ̀ pé mídíà ni mí ó náà òun mọ̀ pé ẹ kọ́kọ́ lọ kọ lẹ́tà wa kàn máa pé kí la fi ṣe yẹn fún bí ta ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ gan mo ti dìbìtì fídíò yẹn but more videos máa jáde pẹ̀lú tó ń bọ̀ èmi náà believe in prophecy yìí o mo kàn ń gbọ́ ní o mo ò believe rárá o but hunger gbogbo ẹ̀ ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣé ti bá wa send gbogbo àkáǹtì síta ẹ yẹ ká lọ sùn oorun ayọ̀ la máa sùn àní tójú oorun lọ síbi tí kò jẹ́ ká lọ a ṣe ń padà bọ̀ lọ́la ẹ̀yin ayé ẹ túlẹ̀ Yorùbá sílẹ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń dè ẹ túlẹ̀. Thank you so much once again. A very good morning. As I always say, we are just doing our best. Gen Z no get money for bank. Kò sí tó kan Gen Z pẹ̀lú báǹkì gan. Àwa tá tẹ̀ lówó díẹ̀ èlò mo níbẹ̀ náà má níbi 10 naira no 500 naira. But báǹkì kan yọ owó díẹ̀ nínú 500 ibo ni 500 naira wà ìyẹn mo ṣe ní kó send àwọn owó yẹn ní kékèké sí mi 500 naira dà mo lè fọwọ́ kan ilé ìtorí kò dọ̀tí mo ní kó make sure pé tuntun ni kó send o ẹ má send owó tó ti fi sínú bra tó ti fi ó ṣèrùn dáadáa ó ń rún Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́ 500 naira ló wà ní àkáǹtì mi náà kọ́ ló ń jẹ́ kó grow sí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní 5 million 10 million ẹ jẹ́ tètè máa wá bí tẹ́ fẹ́ gbó mo ò ní kẹ́ gbé lọ sí rúbà o bọ̀ ẹ wá tẹ́ máa fọwọ́ yín ṣe torí wò kó má yẹ kó máa di gúgúrú àtẹ̀pà ọ̀ràn ẹ̀ la máa sun àjíire o kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí o Yorùbá nation for life good morning and good night God bless Yorùbá land God bless every one of us God bless Baba Akintoye ẹ má bẹ̀rù we will get there ẹlẹ́dẹ̀ àdọ́yọ̀ kí lọ́nù máa ṣẹlẹ̀ kọ sí comment section good night.